Hi students, myself Dr. K. Sivaya, Department of Pharmacology, Faculty of Shantiram College of Pharmacy. Our first topic is anti-ulcer drugs. So heading is drugs acting on GIT system. GIT system we can face this so many problems that is mainly ulcers, vomitings, diarrhea and stomach upset. So these are the gastric problems. So these are the major. In that one of the topic is anti-ulcer. Fine. So what is ulcer? Is a erosion of lining of the stomach or the first part of the small intestine on area called the duodenum. So erosion of the lining of stomach either in intestine or duodenum. So ulcer damages the mucosa of the alimentary tract. It damages the mucosa which extends through the muscularis mucosa into the submucosa or deeper layers. You know, the physiology of the stomach or anatomy of the stomach, if you take in step by step, mucosa, submucosa, muscularis and connective tissue, it will be there, you know. So here when the mucosa damage takes place, automatically we can get the ulcer. See, ulcer that form in the stomach are called gastric ulcers in the duodenum. If the ulcers formed in the stomach, we can call it as gastric ulcers. If it is formed in the duodenum, we can call it as duodenum ulcers. These both combined, we can also call it as peptic ulcers. We can also call it as both combined, we can call it as peptic ulcers. Fine. So this is the peptic ulcers in microscopic view. It is also damage causes through the. So what is the major causes for the ulcer? It is mainly H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori. It is one of microorganism. If it is present in our stomach, it damages the mucosa. Or another reason is if you have the excess secretion of gastric acid, it causes the damages of mucosa. And pepsin, the over secretion of pepsin also to damages the mucosa. If the excess of pepsin, we can causes the damage. That's what we can call it as a peptic ulcers. And non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, I think you studied it. So these drugs to causes the ulcer. How? It inhibits the mainly prostaglandin A2 and prostaglandin E2. You know, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to inhibit the COX. Because of that, there is no production of prostaglandins. When the prostaglandins I and E, if it is not produced, the prostaglandin I, and if it is not produced, it causes the damage because of prostaglandin I2 and the prostaglandin E2 to make the mucosa. This is the reason. So pathogenesis of peptic ulcers, disease imbalance. Aggressive factors like acid, pepsin, Helicobacter pylori, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Defensive factors. Evidence imbalance. If these are increases, you can get acid. If these are decreases, you can get ulcer. So defensive factors are prostaglandins, mucosal blood flow, bicarbonate production, epithelial junction, degeneration of the epithelial layer, epidermal growth factors. These factors, if it is decreases, especially prostaglandins, is prostaglandin E2 and I2. These two, if it is decreases, automatically you can get the ulcer because of they are enhancing the mucus production. Enhancing the mucus production. So this is a Helicobacter pylori. In 1981, Robin Warren, an Australian pathologist, discovered the numerous bacterial living tissue taken during stomach biopsy. Biopsy means that you have a small part of the, we can take the small piece, small, very minute, we can take from the intestine, that's we can call it as biopsy. So Pylori is producing gram-negative bacteria, always accompanied changes in the stomach lining. So they found ఈ హెలికోబాక్టర్ పైలోరీ అనేది ఉండడం వలన మ్యూకస్ మెంబ్రేన్ అనేది డ్యామేజ్ అవుతుంది అనేది రాబిన్ వారెన్ అనే సైంటిస్టు కనుగొన్నాడు. దిస్ ఈజ్ హెలికోబాక్టర్ పైలోరీ. దిస్ is gram negative. This is the structure. Symptoms of H. pylori: abdominal pain, feeling of fullness, indigestion, feeling very hungry 1 to 3 hours after eating, mild nausea. You know what is the meaning of nausea? Feeling vomiting sensation. Pain starts 2 3 hours after meals or in the middle of the night. So before going to that, we have to understand the what is the HCl production. We have to know gastric acid secretion is a complex continuous process in which multiple central and peripheral factors contribute to common endpoint secretion of the common endpoint is secretion of HCl is H plus ions by parietal cells. See, the stomach, you know, the membrane, mucous membrane beneath, it is made up of parietal cells. That parietal cells produces the H plus ions. Okay, their parietal cells have the parietal cells have the M3 receptors, H2 receptors and cholecystokinin 2 receptors. You know the M3 muscarinic receptors, H2 means histamine receptors, cholecystokinin, it is released in the intestine. It is released in the intestine. It's bind to the cholecystokinin receptors and the basolateral membrane of the basolateral membrane of the parietal cells in the body and fundus of the stomach. The H2 receptors here, the major, the protons, nothing but H plus ions released into the stomach because of, you know, H plus ions bind with the Cl minus ions that produces the acid in the stomach. The H plus ions produced by the H2 receptor. The H2 receptors are G protein coupled receptors that they are GQ type receptors. Sorry, GS type receptors. H2 receptors are GS type receptors, so make it note down, that is very important. Next, there I said already that M3 receptors present in the stomach. So acetylcholine bind to the M3 receptors. You know already you studied well. Acetylcholine bind to the muscarinic receptors. So acetylcholine bind to the muscarinic receptors. So that is M3 receptors. It is made up of GQ type. Already you studied in pharmacology 1. In GQ type, you know what is happening. Phospholipase enzyme released, it converts the IP3 to, it is converted into IP3 phosphatidyl inositol diphosphate to IP3 plus DAG. That IP3 increases the calcium 2 plus ions. These calcium 2 plus ions, these calcium 2 plus ions, these calcium 2 plus ions enhance the protein kinase A. Protein kinase A enzyme. You can see. So histamine bind to the H2 receptors. Then already I said that is histamine H2 receptors GS type. That's why adenosine produces cyclic AMP. These cyclic AMP enhance the calcium 2 plus and activate the protein kinase. Next, acetylcholine, you know, bind to the M3 receptors. These M3 receptor causes phosphatidyl inositol diphosphate is converted into IP3. That IP3 increases the calcium 2 plus ions. That's calcium 2 plus ions. That calcium 2 plus ions activate the protein kinases. And gastrin also same. Gastrin also same. The gastrin here, the gastrin through the tube is also the gastrin hormone also GQ type receptors. That's why same like this. Okay. Acetylcholine like this. The gastrin increases the calcium 2 plus. These two calcium 2 plus ions boost the protein kinase enzyme activity. Because of this, ATP is when it is activated, ATP is dependent. When the protein kinase is activated, H plus ions into the lumen of the stomach and K plus ion enter into this. Understood? So like that way, the H plus ions released into the stomach. So which are involved here? The H2 receptors 1 and muscarinic receptors and gastrin. These three entire to increase this plus. But here the PGE2. The PGE2 inhibition, because of PGE2 when it is released, the PGE2 which type of receptor? Have the GI, nothing but to decreases the cyclic AMP levels. That's why I said it decreases the gastric and produces the mucus. It inhibits the HCl secretion and produces the mucus secretion, as well as PGI2 also. So these are the symptoms of burning abdominal pain, hematemesis, melena, nausea, vomiting, unexplained weight loss, anorexia, and abdominal fullness. So these are the symptoms of if the patient get the ulcer. So how we can diagnose a flexible tube? We can insert the one flexible tube fitted with a camera is threaded down the esophagus into the stomach to see the ulcer by physician. Barium meal. So barium liquid is a drunk making ulcer visible on X-ray. So the one of the barium liquid, if it is before inserting to these flexible tube, they can drink barium liquid is nothing but here like that also we can, it is visible or just ద పేషెంట్ ఓన్లీ టేకింది అంటే పేరియం లిక్విడ్ మాత్రమే తీసుకుని ఎక్స్రే తీసుకున్నా కూడా ఎక్కడైతే అల్సర్స్ ఫామ్ అయినాయో అక్కడ మనకు కనపడుతుంది అనమాట డ్యామేజ్ అనేది. లేదు ఎండోస్కోపీ డైరెక్ట్గా చూసుకొని మన కెమెరా ద్వారా అయినా చూడొచ్చు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద 2 మెథడ్స్ ఫర్ టు డయాగ్నోసిస్. టెస్ట్ ఫర్ డయాగ్నోసిస్ H. pylori. H. pylori ఉందా లేదా అని టెస్ట్. బ్రీత్ టెస్ట్ by measuring the amount of carbon dioxide exhaled breath, and blood test by identifying the H. pylori's antibodies. If the H. pylori more it is there, so because of it is a microorganism, that's why automatically our body releases the antibodies. We can test. And stool test, stool sample tested with H. pylori antigen. So these are the diagnosis for H. pylori. So lifestyle modification is doubtful efficacy, rest, relaxation, good sleeper. Diet indications. So these are all deficiency. So these are, if the rest is deficiency, relaxation deficiency, good sleep deficiency, diet indication also, these are all of the patient getting the deficiency we can get ulcer. So balanced in diet, frequent small meal, తక్కువగా మీల్ తీసుకోవడం, ఫైబర్ కంటెంట్ తక్కువగా తీసుకోవడం వల్ల, ఫైబర్ కంటెంట్ ఎక్కువ తీసుకుంటే ఏ ప్రాబ్లం ఉండదు, తక్కువ తీసుకుంటే. సో దట్స్ వై ఇట్స్ ఏ డెఫిషియన్సీ. అండ్ వైటమిన్ ఈ తక్కువ తీసుకోవడం, డైటరీ ఫ్యాటీ యాసిడ్స్ తక్కువ తీసుకోవడం, ఫ్యాట్ డైట్ తక్కువ తీసుకోవడం. సో if the deficiency takes place, automatically the ulcer more chances. Contraindications: caffeine containing beverages, species, and alcohol, and smoking. If the person taking caffeine containing beverages, nothing but cool drinks and bicarbonate drinks and spicy foods, whatever available outside, and alcohol and smoking, these are all contraindications of the patient. So if you take in the classification of anti-ulcer drugs, so these are all mainly, the main mechanism is to reduce the HCl production, and few are to neutralize the HCl, and few are to make mucus production. So histamine antagonist, so cimetidine and ranitidine drugs to block the H2 receptors. What you studied to block the H2 receptors. Proton pump inhibitors, omeprazole and pantoprazole. So proton inhibitors are omeprazole and pantoprazole. So they inhibit the production of H+ ions. And acetylcholine antagonist, what is the function of acetylcholine? Acetylcholine bind to the M3 receptors. So these pyrangipan and propanthalin drugs to inhibit the M3 receptors, and prostaglandin analogs. These misoprostol act as a prostaglandin, so increases the levels of prostaglandin E2 and I2. And antacids, so neutralizing gastric acids. So these sodium bicarbonate, sodium citrate, magnesium hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide, these are all to neutralize the acid. So these are basic in nature. So these are systemic, we can give sodium bicarbonate, sodium citrate, we can give systemic. These magnesium hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide, we can give oral. Non-systemic means, systemic means parenteral, non-systemic means non-parenteral, and also produce sucralfate, anti-helicobacter virus. So this is bacteria, that's why we have to give the antimicrobial. So that's why amoxicillin and clarithromycin we can give. and histamine antagonist. Come to the drug. So histamine antagonist inhibits the action of histamine and the acid producing cells of the stomach and reduces the stomach acid. Pharmacokinetics. If you, I said already how to write the pharmacokinetics: absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. So here the drug, how much of drug is absorption takes place? Well absorption, simple. So 60 to 80% is means well absorption, and distribution, well distributed, and metabolism, metabolized in the liver, already we discussed, and excreted through urine. It's a simple logic. So the drug is administered orally, and as few we can observe. So undergoes first phase metabolism, no intervention, presence of food cross. Okay, this is same thing. Elimination 1 to 3 hours, it is immediate renal failure. But about 2/3 dose of the excreted unchanged of the urine or bile excretion. Maximum it is excreted through urine, but few amount excreted is through bile. But if the dose is excessive, if it is more overdose, if it is used, we can get renal failure. That's the cause. Then come to the side effects. It include constipation. I said already, the overdose of the drug, it produces the adverse effects. If the drug produces other effects, we can call it as side effects. If the drug produces the other actions, we can call as side effects. With minimum dose, mild dose to produce the side effects. But if the drug produces the overaction, nothing but when the dose increases, it produces the overaction. If the simultaneous division undigested the food was undigested, that is adverse effects, and you can get disturbances of the stomach, that is adverse effect, and you get some, after few hours you can get vomiting because of the food. If it is not digested, automatically you can get vomiting sensation. So that is adverse effect. So, but here the side effects, the lowest dose of the drug also to produce these effects, that is constipation, diarrhea also, fatigue, headache, insomnia, muscle spine. So those have the red color, they have produces more effect. Vomiting. Major side effects include confusion, hallucination, gynecomastia, enlargement of breast, impotence if it is used cimetidine. The drug, if it is used, that's why recently this drug is banned. The drug was banned actually. So it is used in the treatment of duodenal ulcer, gastric ulcers, stress ulcers, gastroesophageal reflex disorders, and Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. So it is used in these are used. Next, come to the proton pump inhibitors. So by irreversibly blocking the hydrogen or potassium adenosine triphosphate enzyme system of the gastric apparatus. Already we discussed here. This is potassium, proton, and ATPase crosswalk. So the proton pump inhibitors to inhibit this pump. Inhibits that pump. That pump inhibited, that's why hydrogen, potassium, adenosine triphosphates system of the gastric parietal cells. The proton pump is the terminal stage in gastric acid secretion. So is inactive in neutral pH, but at a pH less than 5 to charged cationic forms of sulfonic acid and sulfonamide that react covalently with the SH group of these proton and potassium ATPase enzyme. So at pH of this it forms the sulfonic acid and sulfonamide. These are covalently bond with the H plus and potassium ATPase enzyme. So when it is ATPase enzyme, if it is inhibited, there is no production of H plus ions. That is the major mechanism of action of the omeprazole. Next, come to the side effects: pain, diarrhea, constipation, dizziness. Side effects: pain, itching, seizures. So these are the side effects of the omeprazole. And pharmacokinetic parameters, I already said that: well absorption, well distribution, metabolized in the liver. I already said that pharmacokinetic parameters: well absorption, well distribution, metabolized in the liver, and excreted in the through urine. Simply we have to write, but we have to remember the drug we can give orally or not is very, very important. Very, very important. Thank you. So these are the pharmacokinetics of proton pump inhibitor. Oral biology is 15%. Food interferes with the food absorption only. Should be taken 1 hour prior to meal. The proton ఈ డ్రగ్స్ మనము ఫుడ్ ఇంటర్ఫేర్ ఉంది కాబట్టి మనం ఈ డ్రగ్ని 1 అవర్ ముందు తీసుకుంటే బాగా ఉంటుంది. అండ్ మెటబలైజ్డ్ బై ది సైటోక్రోమ్ P450 వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ప్రెసెంట్ లివర్. సో దట్స్ వై ఇట్ ఈస్ metabolized in the liver. The T-off is 1 hour and metabolites are excreted through urine. These are the points. So uses, these are the uses: peptic ulcer, bleeding peptic ulcer, stress ulcer, gastroeffective reflex disorders, Jensen syndrome, aspiration pneumonia, and these adverse effects: nausea, loose stools, headache, abdominal pain, muscle and joint pains, rashes, leukopenia, hepatic dysfunction, gynecomastia, erectile dysfunction. So maximum all adverse effects are similar, same, but these when compared to the simitin ranitidine, these adverse effects are less when compared to cimetidine and ranitidine. Next, acetylcholine antagonist. Acetylcholine antagonist. The drug is pyrazine. It is selectively block the M1 muscarinic receptors and inhibits the gastric secretion. Because of their relatively poor efficacy, side effects and risk blood disorders, they are rarely used today. Actually, so some textbooks given M1 receptors, some textbooks given M3 receptors, but both are GQ type receptors. Both are GQ type receptors. So if you the pyrazine, it blocks the M1 and M3 receptors. When it is blocked, there is no gastric acid production. Okay, the side effects are like risk of blood disorders, so they are rarely used today. I think understand. Next, agents that enhance the mucosal defense. So prostaglandins. So prostaglandins are produced in the gastric mucosa and appear to protective role by inhibiting the acid section and promoting the mucus production and bicarbonate secretion. This is the main use of prostaglandin E2 and prostaglandin I2. And these whatever the misoprostol drug, it is analog అంటే సిమిలర్గా ఉంటుంది అని. సో in addition, prostaglandins inhibits the gastric production, increase the mucosal blood flow and probably have the ill-defined cytoprotective action. Understand? So misoprostol acts upon gastric parietal cells, inhibiting the secretion of gastric acid by G protein coupled receptor mediated through inhibitide and sectase. You know, prostaglandin it's a prostaglandin. It is a GI type receptors. GI type receptors. Prostaglandin, it is a GI type. So misoprostol bind to the prostaglandin I to prostaglandin E. Then prostaglandin E, it is a GI type receptor. Then automatically HCl production, it is decreased. Already you know what is the mechanism involved in the GI type receptor. Nothing but G protein coupled receptor. Side effects are diarrhea. Other common side effects include abdominal pain, nausea, flatulence, headache, dyspepsia, vomiting and constipation. Next, sucralfate. So sucralfate ulcer protective. How? Sucralfate is a locally acting substance that in the acid environment is actually the stomach pH is 2.5 to 3, 4, like that it will be there. Means acidic in nature. In the stomach to form cross-lining viscous paste-like material capable of acting. So these sucralfate to neutralize nothing but to increases the acid to base 6 to 8 hours. After a single dose, it is also attached to protein on the surface of the ulcers such as albumin and fibrinogen to form stable insoluble complex. These complexes serve as a protective barrier. These sucralfate, what is happening after receiving sucralfate, it's bind with the albumin present in the mucus and fibrinogen. So when it is complex is formed, it acts as a protective barrier, so preventing the further damage of from acid pepsin bind. So whatever it is, the sucralfate అనేది ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఒక లేయర్ ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది in the stomach. So sir, the most common side effect is seen as constipation. So less commonly reported include flatulence, cephalances. So these are less reported. So it is in the treatment of gastritis and stress ulcers. Sodium bicarbonate, anti-ulcers or antacids, we can simply call it as antacids. So it is a water soluble, acts at the instantly. So that's instantaneously. So but the duration of action is short. It is a potent neutralizer. Antacid, anti to the acid. So these, what are the bicarbonate ions to neutralize the. So which agents or which drugs are to neutralize the acid, we can call as antacids. So pH may rise above 7. Actually, what is the pH of the stomach? 2 to 4, like that it will be. So it rises the pH. Whenever it is automatically, it is neutral. So adverse reaction, it causes systemic alkalosis, gastric distension, rebound acidity and milk alkaline syndrome. It is but it is restricted to casual treatment of heartburn and to treat acidosis. కానీ కొంతమందికి హార్ట్ బర్న్ అనేది వస్తుంది. హార్ట్ బర్న్ అనేది ఏంటంటే, ఎప్పుడైతే యాసిడ్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది ఎక్కువగా జరిగి, ఎప్పుడైతే మీరు తినుకోకుండా ఉన్నప్పుడు, ఎప్పుడైతే మీరు ఫుడ్ తినుకోకుండా ఉన్నప్పుడు యాసిడ్ ప్రొడక్షన్ ఎక్కువ జరిగి మీకు హార్ట్ బర్న్ అవుతుంది అన్నమాట. బర్న్ అంటే మండిపోవడం అని కాదు, వేరేలాగా ఆలోచించకండి. హార్ట్ మంట పుడుతుంది. సో అప్పుడు మీరు యాంటాసిడ్స్ తీసుకున్నారంటే కూల్ అయిపోతుంది, అర్థమవుతుందా? సో కానీ ఇవి ఎక్కువగా తీసుకోవడం వలన ఏంటంటే ఆల్కలోసిస్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది అండ్ గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ డిస్టెన్షన్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది. సో మిల్క్ ఆల్కలీ సిండ్రోమ్ అనేది వస్తుంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ రిస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ టు క్యాజువల్ ట్రీట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ హార్ట్ బర్న్ అండ్ ట్రీట్ అసిడోసిస్. ఆల్రెడీ we said, and H. pylori already we discussed. So antimicrobials that have been found clinically effective against H. pylori, amoxicillin and clarithromycin. We can discuss entirely next chapter amoxicillin, how they are a mechanism of action and whatever it is. So these we can use sometimes because of if the ulcer is produced by the H. pylori, they can use this. So the canosurgeon is preferred using gastric acid inhibitors and antibiotics. సో గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ యాసిడ్ ఇన్హిబిటర్స్తో పాటు యాంటీబయాటిక్స్కి యూజ్ చేసినట్లయితే యాసిడ్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది ఎక్కువగా బాగా తగ్గే అవకాశం ఉంది. ఏ ప్రోటాన్ ఇన్హిబిటర్స్ H2 బ్లాకర్ అమాక్సిలిన్ క్లారిథ్రోమైసిన్ మెట్రోనిడజోల్. ఈ H2 బ్లాకర్తో అమాక్సిలిన్ ఇస్తారు, లేదా క్లారిథ్రోమైసిన్ ఇస్తారు, లేదా మెట్రోనిడజోల్ అయినా ఇస్తారు. ఈ కాంబినేషన్ ఇస్తే అల్సర్ అనేది తగ్గుతుంది. లేదా ప్యాంటాప్రోజోల్ లేదా మెట్రోనిడజోల్ కూడా ఇస్తారు. So one more important cause of the acid production is stress. If the more feel stress, the more acid production takes place. And food avoid contamination. అంటే స్ట్రెస్ పడకూడదని చెప్తున్నాను. అవాయిడ్ స్ట్రెస్. స్ట్రెస్ని అవాయిడ్ చేసుకున్నట్లయితే మనం యాసిడ్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది తగ్గుతుంది. కంటామినేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్, ఎటు పడితే అట్లా తినుకోకుండా పర్ఫెక్ట్గా తింటే బెటరు. ఓకే, no smoking, no drinking, don't use bicarbonated drinks, nothing but cool drinks. So no use of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories continuously. If you are using paracetamol continuously, the doctor compulsory prescribing the drug, antacid drug, that is not antacid drug, anti-ulcer drug, that is ranitidine or pantoprazole, omeprazole. They can compulsory prescribe. If they mentioned 1 week non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, వాళ్ళకి యాంటీ-ఇన్ఫ్లమేటరీ డ్రగ్స్ పారాసెటమాల్ కానీ, యాసిపిరిన్, మిఫెనమిక్ యాసిడ్ కానీ, అసైక్లోఫెనాక్ కానీ, ఇఫ్ దే గిన్ మెన్షన్ చేసినట్టయితే కంపల్సరీగా రానిటిడిన్ అనే డ్రగ్ కానీ, లేదా ఒమిప్రజోల్ కానీ, ప్యాంటాప్రజోల్ కానీ వాళ్ళు కంపల్సరీగా మెన్షన్ చేస్తారు. బిఫోర్ ఫుడ్ తీసుకోమని చెప్తారు. సో డోంట్ కంటిన్యూస్ యూజ్ ఆఫ్ నాన్-స్టెరాయిడ్. సో those are have the ulcers. Thank you. So read these are the questions regarding above PPT. Please make it in single paper and answer in single paper and draw compulsory diagram how the HCl production takes place. The diagram is very important. It is available in Tripathi. And also whatever I given in PPT also we can use it. Thank you, Ananda. Good luck.